Brilliant. I think we're live. We are live. Good morning. Welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Now, what have we got on board for you this morning? Number one, we have an update for you around the Mini Drak Maiden. I don't want to swamp this one out for you either. The TBRC Reflex 38 also got maiden yesterday. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You're going to find out more about her in a few moments' time. There is a new big model available from MyFlyDream. So I know that many of you are big fans of the twin one, which the name eludes me at the moment. We'll be taking a look at that. One of the real nice things I like about these RC coffee chats is that I picked up there was a chat in the Facebook group with Joey about his Mini Talon. So we are going to be having a chat about the launches for the Mini Talon as well in this episode to help Joey with his. There's also some big news. Stuart from HobbyKing is leaving. Thank you to BMX for popping that in the chat a few moments ago. And we have a nuts were ragged section to today's episode. So with that said, let's start off with one of my favourite pieces, which were shout out corner. So let's get ourselves across to there. And this is where I can say howdy to you this morning. My twin dream, that's what it was, James. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So a good morning to Brian, to Riff, Flying Amiibo. Aha, I got it right this time. Good morning, Sir Wayne. Good morning, Marco. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, BMX. The Guinness. Good morning. Scrolling down, who else is on this morning? We got Riff. Good morning, Henry. Good morning, Royden. Good morning, Peter. I understand you're there with your cuppa. Good boy. Good morning, Jeff, which is 7Demo7. And also a big shout out to Jeff. Just literally watched your video this morning, Jeff, on the 125 mile an hour run. Absolutely brilliant. We need video footage, though. We need video footage. And there's me bouncing around in my chair, and thankfully you can't see me doing that. Good morning, RCA. Good morning, James. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Chris. And good morning, Tom. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's go back to the main. Odie Backer, good morning from Desert Southwest. Oh, talking of desert, going completely off topic as we start today. The weather looks fantastic for today. I mean, it's not freezing outside. The birds are out there singing. There isn't a layer of frost on the ground. The trees aren't bending over with wind. We've literally got what looks like a fantastic flying day ahead of us today here in the United Kingdom of not wetness. So today, we're going to go out and do a bit of a sneaky flying. Brilliant. And good morning, Jake. And good morning, Philip, as well. And Joe. Sorry, my bad. I've just seen Joe pop up in the chat as well, which you can see above my head. So let's get into the obvious one, which is the Mini Drak, when she's sat over there resting right now from yesterday's antics. Now, I've got some notes here. And the first one is that, frankly speaking, you can take the piss out of me all you want for flying left-hand circuits with the Mini Drak. I don't care at all. I genuinely mean that. I don't care at all. And the reason why I don't care is because what you couldn't really pick up, well, you may have picked up from like the flight line footage on the Maiden, is that it was quite a windy day. What we had was a south-facing wind, so the wind was coming up through Lower Western, coming up a hill, hitting a load of trees, and then ending up into the flying site where we were flying. What that meant is that it was quite calm on the flight line, but the second you got maybe 30, 40 meters out into the actual playing fields themselves, is that it was choppy, to say the least. And you'll see the Mini Drak doing that. When you're seeing some later video footage is the Reflex doing exactly the same thing. I took the plummet reactor. I took the reactor up as well because I swapped the motor over it, sorted out the motor mount, put a new propeller on it and stuff like that, and actually put a prop saver on it. Took the reactor up too, and prop hang, and then it was just getting blown backwards. It was horrible weather, but it wasn't raining, it wasn't frozen. And yeah, coming back to my point is that you're more than welcome to take the piss out of me for doing NASCAR circuits on a Maiden, but I was sticking to safe, just getting it, and you saw how twitchy she was as well in the roll axis. And do know I was only down on 30% servo movement with about 45 expo on her as well. And it was twitchy, and I did, well, you saw what she was like in the sky, but the second you open that throttle on it, locked in, bank, round, and when I was watching some of the video footage myself, is that she was flying and keeping her height on her side as well. Crazy thing. So, yeah, my top, when it comes to the Mini Drak, yeah, take all the piss you want for left-hand circuits. I frankly don't care. I genuinely don't mean that, and that's the same for any maiden, is just get the model trimmed in. And I was really fighting with the Mini Drak to get it trimmed in, not because of the Mini Drak itself. It's, well, because I had the rates up so high, well, in comparison for the model, but because of the weather conditions which I was flying in. They were less than ideal for a maiden, and it was a very, very turbulent air going on. Yeah, it was windy, there was a lot of money thrown around, and she needed to be trimmed. And of course, we will be taking her out later this morning for a damn good spank around. Brilliant. What else have I got in my notes in here as well? Yeah, Brad, I did great for a maiden. What you didn't see is that we had 2 failed launches beforehand. And what I learned that day was the servos and the control horns and the push rods came set up to me with a lot of differential in them, so that the little unicorn horns were quite far back on the wing, and the clevises were down 1 notch on the servo. Now, me thinking I knew better, is that what I did, I moved the control horns forwards, and then I also moved the clevis up, which was a massive mistake. And it's great that I can share this with you, so that if you do end up owning a Mini Drak, you know to give it differential on the ailerons, on the elevons, and you know that you really do need to like pull the servo down, pull the clevis down on the control horn, so that you have like less movement, you have more torque though. And the other thing which I learned is that it's very, very roll sensitive, but it's not very pitch sensitive. I did realise that I needed a lot of elevator movement in her as well. But wow, let's just put some of the downsides to one side, which we've just covered. Wow, what an absolutely amazing model in the sky. I think you hear me on the flight line chatting to Andrew saying, let's just enjoy her. We've got her in the sky at the moment. And I really was enjoying it. It was an absolute handful, but that was fine. I knew what I was dealing with, and as long as it didn't have foam snow, and that was classed as happy days in short. So what else have I got on my note on here? Yeah, big massive hat tip to Andrew for giving me a hand yesterday. I really do appreciate that, Andrew. Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. Many of you know Andrew from in the Facebook group. He's also Heady 2008 over on YouTube as well. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I've mentioned, yeah, very sensitive on the roll axis due to the forward swept wings, because the elevons are forwards. It does make it very, very twitchy in that respect. And I did note on here that she needed a lot of elevator or pitch movement. Now, a little heads up for you, I did record video log #2 yesterday. So in the car, we're having a bit of a chit chat before the maiden when we get there. And then we've got a couple of flights going on, and then some final thoughts in the car on the way home. Now, as many of you know, I'd rather be flying, and this morning I've got some work to get done. We're going flying today, so as soon as I finish today's RC coffee chat, I'm going to stick some batteries on charge, and I've got a shed load more video, but it's all got to wait. It's all got to wait, because today is a flying day. It's 4-mile-an-hour wind. You've seen you know how khaki the weather we've had here lately. So yeah, crazy. So the Mini Drak, brilliant. So we'll take her back out today. We'll do a second maiden with the changes. Second flight with the changes which I've made to her. We'll get her trimmed in. Then I'll apply the trims, or incorporate the trims into the vector, and then we'll do some more adventurous stuff. One thing which you may not have noticed is that in the DVR footage, and by the way, I've put links to all the Mini Drak episodes, and no apologies for spilling it out in 3 separate episodes. Literally, as I had one complete, I rendered it and then published it. So that's why we got 3 parts come out yesterday, and those 3 parts, the links to them in the video description for you. Is that I don't know if you spotted in the DVR footage on her, is that she, when you opened up the throttle, there were times there when she was easily doing over 100 miles an hour, but I was climbing quite aggressively. So today for me is to find out what kind of a speed she's got on her. So that's my target for today, is find out how fast she really goes, and also get the goggles down with her and enjoy it too. Another thing to note as well with the Mini Drak, as far as landings go, she did glide really, really well, considering there was a 5,200 4S pack in the nose, and it was grossly nose heavy. It glided absolutely fantastic. I just needed a little bit more elevator. That's why she doesn't come down like gracefully at the end. Well, she landed and there was no foam snow. That's classed as a fantastic maiden in my book. I don't know about yours, but that was a good one. Anyway, today we're going to go out and we're going to get the trim sorted out, and we'll see how fast she really does fly. One thing which I did do, and I'll show you this just as a little tip. What I did, you see this on here, is that these elevons are, even with the changes which I made, is that what I did, I put some masking tape on here, put a card on here, and then marked the line exactly where the previous trim was, changed the control horns around, and then put the model back in, and then trimmed it back up again using the line which I'd drawn on the side of here on a bit of masking tape. And of course, once I finished, I just peeled the masking tape off. So when we go out and do the trim flight with her today, is that it should be pretty much bang on. It should be pretty much bang on. And I used a little piece of foam in the nose, so I'll use exactly the same battery, and I'll know where everything is. So today's trim session should be a lot easier. Brad says EF Extra Maiden. I'll be brutally honest. By the time I'd finished with the Mini Drak, I turned and said to Andrew, "Look, Andrew, I've had enough. I've had my fill for today." The Mini Drak was a complete handful. I'm sure many of you saw the torque roll on the launch. And let's be fair here, the Mini Drak looks absolutely amazing. The reality is, from what I've seen so far, is that if you're not capable of coping with a model which torque rolls on you like that and then saving it on the opposite side, then it's not a model for you. If you can, then you need a Mini Drak. I think that's probably the biggest definition for the Mini Drak owner, is that if you could handle a model doing that on you and still save it and end up with no foam snow, Mini Drak. There's, without question, it is just an absolutely beautiful model. But let's just face it, if you've just been started into this hobby, then for God's sake, stay away from the Mini Drak. It would be a model which you can aspire to fly, and that's what I've personally done for several months now. I've aspired to be able to fly it, and I've put so much time and effort and energy into getting to my flying skills up to a level where I could handle something like that. There was a big tip which came in one of the comments, that it would be very, very suitable to a bungee launch, so we get lots of wing airspeed up underneath those wings and then power on and power out. That would be a perfect launch device for the Mini Drak. I don't particularly fancy carrying a doodah bungee launched with me to the flight line, so we probably won't be doing that. One thing which I will be doing tomorrow is, I don't know if you saw the launch when I lobbed it, I even got airborne when I threw it, is that I went up a little bit high with the angle of attack into the sky. So today when I go to launch her, I will really give her a damn good chuck and get her out quite straight. That's my goal. Maybe only like 20 degrees up in there. And I can see so many of you chatting here in the background. Good morning, Bruce, by the way. So yeah, coming back to the launch. I'll probably get it at 20 degrees. The one other thing which I picked up from the DVR footage is that it likes to fly between about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Keep that number in the back of your head, because we are going to be chatting about the Mini Talon in a few moments time. So I could talk all day about the Mini Drak. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. The reality is and I don't want to be like negative to like Chris Click, the creator of the Mini Drak, or Johnny from Team Legit. But the reality is that if you're just getting started out in this hobby and you don't feel, and you're just getting maybe into flying wings and things like that, the Mini Drak is the model to aspire to be able to fly. Okay, you can have so much more fun and more inexpensive fun with something like a little the mini micro Sky Hunter. Super cheap. It doesn't matter if you stove it, you're not going to cry at the end of the day if you stuff it in a tree or you get a big ball of foam snow. But the Mini Drak for me is that I feel very, very happy. I came home last night very, very happy with myself. We had no foam snow. The Mini Drak had flown, and it had been a bit of a cow on me, and it's still in one piece, and I get to fly it again today. So I'm a very, very happy guy. And if you feel that you can cope with a model like that, then it's a Mini Drak, you know? You're just going to get one. So coming back to the point on the EF Extra, literally I said to Andrew, that's it. I'm done for today. We had a couple of other maidens going on. We'll get to the TBR Reflex at 38 in a moment. And the wind conditions weren't great. And I'd just been and flown an absolute handful due to the setup which I had. And that was enough for me. So we actually cut the flying session short. I'm 50-50 right now. We're off to one of the other flying sites today. I'm a little bit 50-50 on taking the EF Extra with me. But to be frankly honest, the EF Extra is just going to be a complete kitten in comparison. So I will probably stuff it in the flight bag and take it with me out flying today. It just means that it's going to get caked in mud. And we'll have to stand in the middle of the field so that we make sure we get a good landing on it as well. So EF Extra has not been maiden yet. That may come, fingers crossed, today. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And let's face it, it's going to be a complete kitten compared to the Mini Drak and the fun which I had yesterday. So no, I haven't maiden that one yet, is the answer to that question. Next topic is the Reflex 38. So that one finally finished. It's been sat here on the side for days and days and days. So we took that one out for a maiden. Compared to the Mini Drak, complete piece of piss. We did a line of sight maiden first, laid to throttle, grabbed it, lobbed it, tried to trim it in, and honestly, trying to trim a model in yesterday, that's why I did so many circular laps with the Mini Drak. I did as many circular laps with the Reflex 38 as well, just trying to get it trimmed in, right handful in those weather conditions. But we got it trimmed in. Second flight, goggles down, left the same battery in there because again it was a 5200 4S. Just put it down there and spank the living daylights out of it. That one is got to be up around 100 mile an hour again. That's for sure. Beautiful in the sky, nice rolls, absolute kitten compared to the Mini Drak in short. And I don't want, and that's why I'm going to hold off on the maiden videos for the TBRC Reflex 38, because I don't want it to get swamped by my excitement for the Mini Drak. The Reflex 38 is an absolutely wonderful wing to fly, and I don't want to do it disservice by trying to slip it out while this stuff on the Mini Drak's going out. So that will get held back for a couple of days. And that's just me being honest with you, because the TBR Reflex, let me just have a quick look on there. My notes are on there. Yeah, hardly the best day for a maiden, to be honest, was getting chopped around in the sky. There was loads of waggle. Now, that wasn't necessarily the model's fault. It was the blooming turbulent air coming over the top of the trees. All the models were doing it, even though there was a trainer, which John was flying yesterday, and that was just getting knocked around. And you could see John there on the sticks using the rudder, trying to keep it in there straight. So it was a challenging day. Probably not the best day for doing maidens on, but screw it, we flew anyway. And some quick look on there. Yeah, there's only 2 negatives which I can say, and they are really, really tiny on the TBR Reflex 38. The first one is that I really do wish that they cut the motor mount in as part of the process. So when it arrives with you, you don't have to manually cut it out. So on mine, I've got to put another 2 washers on the back motor mount because I didn't cut mine exactly straight. So I need to move the motor down a bit because she's lifting stupidly. You see it just rising in the sky when you open up the full throttle. So I need to tame that down a bit. And like I said, I really am nitpicking with the TBR Reflex 38 is that the lid, the hatch to go over the battery bay, it could do with being 1 centimetre longer. Okay, that's the 2 negatives which I can say about the TBR Reflex 38, and they are really, really minor things indeed. So that's quit. I don't know what you're talking about in the chat. Good morning, Van, by the way. I can see a couple of new names in there. If I've missed you, I do apologise. Next topic, there is a new model out. It's called a MyFlyDream MFD Nimbus. It's got a bit of a high price point at $230. And I was thinking, well, I know the name MyFlyDream. That's happy days. And scrolling down, it kind of looks like the clouds, and then I thought, well, it's got a carbon boom and it's got a V-tail, kind of looks like the clouds. And then I got to that photo. It looks like they're using the similar to the multi-star connectors in the wings, so that would save. And look, you've even got rolled cut. You got my head in the way. Let me turn me off a mo. No, wrong one. Where's that one? There, look, you've even got rolled carbon fibre tubes as well, which I thought was a nice touch. And that would obviously save some time on the flight line. So you can just go up, click the wings in, and off you go. I thought that was really cool. Do I think it's really, really, really cool for $230? I don't know. I'll let you make your own decision on that one. But that's a new model. It's on Alert Me on arrival at the moment. So I can't remember who posted that one in the Facebook group, but you know who you are. And thank you very much for that one. Let's have a quick look. Trying to keep an eye on the chat in the background. Yeah, plug and play, as Wayne says. Right, next topic is the Mini Talon for Joey. So this section is for Joey. Joey's just finished painting up his Mini Talon. And by the way, this is one of the really nice things about I like about these RC coffee chats is that I can take like a question or something which is being discussed in the Facebook group, and we can address it like almost there and then, or on the same, or maybe the next day. So Joey is just finished painting his Mini Talon. Now, the one thing about the Mini Talon is that I have literally watched every single video on YouTube about the Mini Talon because I always knew that they were a bit of a dog to fly. And the reason why I'm saying that is that not necessarily to fly, it's the launches. And I know that I threw Dave's Mini Talon and it went up and stalled and came back in the ground. So, Jerry, this bit's for you. Now, what I'd like you to do is watch, number one, how hard I throw the model, okay? I've put a link to this video in the video description, but watch how hard I throw the model, how much throttle I'm using, and also watch the angle of attack. So let me just go and hit play on here. I think I've got this at the right point. So, there. Did you see her go away then? The trick to the Mini Talon is that you throw it hard and you throw it straight with about 3/4 throttle. Don't give her any up. I know it's really tempting, maybe like with a flying wing, you're used to just lobbing it whatever degree into the sky and it will just power out of it, not an issue. The Mini Talon is one which needs lots of air underneath those wings. So a bloody good lob, straight lob and plenty of throttle, and she'll get away fine. So Joey, I hope that helps you. There's a link to that video. That's the raw version, and there's a link to that in the notes underneath this video for you as well. Let's have a quick look. And I'm just, looks like you're all harassing Sir Bruce in the background. Yeah, launch it level, Tom. Launch it level. Oh, and the other one is make sure it's nose heavy. As always, any model like the Mini Drak yesterday, grossly nose heavy. The TBRC Reflex wing yesterday, grossly nose heavy. The Mini Talon, nose heavy. You can never go wrong with nose heavy. If you've ever had a tail heavy model, then I can tell you it is just not fun. Just don't ever go there. Tail heavy models are not fun at all. They do that in the sky in front of you, and it's not a good experience. So if you're ever in any doubt on a maiden, move the battery forwards another inch, or bring it forward so you know that, yeah, that's really nose heavy. And then if you're saying, yeah, that's really nose heavy, give it a damn good lob, and just make sure that you're on the 6 to give her plenty of elevator if she needs it. The next topic is Stuart from HobbyKing. Literally, big hat tip to BMX who brought this spotted this just a few moments ago. Stuart from Stuart, which many of us know from HobbyKing, is unfortunately leaving. He's going to go and spend some time with his family in Finland, which fair dues. Now, I did see there was a bit of a chit chat about other reasons why he might be leaving. To be honest, family is a good reason as any. He's been there for a couple of years, I believe. Personally, I get bored after about 3 years, so well done. Yeah, Stuart's on to new things. So happy days on that one. There is a link to the full episode of that one. I haven't watched it completely myself. I think they were chatting about a reversible ESC, which could be really, really good fun in the sky. I think they do make a note you probably don't want to do that, but it could be really good fun on a model just to see what happens. And then there is a chat at the end about Stuart leaving, which is a bit of a sad times. I like Stuart, actually. Believe it or not, I'd not actually subscribed to HobbyKing on YouTube until very, very recently. And he's a nice bloke, you know? So, yeah, bit of a hit for HobbyKing, I feel there. Yeah, bit of a sad one. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section underneath this video. Yeah, Mike, you've hit the nail on the head. Tail heavy, you only ever fly it once. Yeah, crazy. And Jeff's also saying lots of changes at HobbyKing. And yes, Bruce. I think Bruce is going to get around to the pulse jet on top of a mini Talon about the same time as I get the Wingnetic in that cement mixer. It's just one of those projects which you always know that you've got to do. You've said it too many times and you must get round to it, and then other things come up like a Mini Drak or an EFX Extra and you get distracted. Yeah, I know that one well. And the last topic for today is well done, Steve. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're about to find out. A little section which we run here where the nuts were ragged, and that's Steve's. The state of Steve's model. Yeah. So what I'd like to say is landed, and you have, and Steve has a optional accessory of a wing. So well done, Steve. And that was hilarious when you came back with that. Sorry, we were chatting about it in the Facebook group. One of my favourite ones, when we get one of those photos in there, I always like to do hashtag landed. It's normally a competition between me and Ken to see who can type it first. And then I typed in landed, and then Steve came back with that photo. Good man, good man. And the thing is, look, if you're not having the odd smack, you're not trying hard enough, you know? It's just sometimes there's models which you don't want to give a smack, okay? Or if you think about it, every time you smack up a model, that's one less chance that you're going to do something to maybe a model like the Mini Drak. So, yeah, it'll buff out Joe. It's fine. A bit of glue, couple of pins, plenty of goop, even on the radiator. It'd be flyable in the morning. Or, yeah, or a bit of hot glue on the flight line. It's only a flesh wound, isn't it? So with that said, let's go back through today's topics. The Mini Drak Maiden. I'm off out with it today. Can't wait. Absolutely cannot wait. We'll see if she talk rolls on me again. And by the way, the reason why she probably talk rolled on me is because I had 2 failed launches beforehand where I didn't give her enough thrust. And then I overcompensated it, being a bloke. It was like, oh, bang it up, and then just lobbed it. And I obviously gave her too much welly on there. Oops the daisy. But we are out with the Mini Drak again today, so look out for some video footage for that shortly. We touched on the TBRC Reflex 38. Like I said, I don't want the Mini Drak to swamp the Reflex 38. It is a fantastic wing, and I'm going to hold back on the footage on the Reflex 38 so that it gets the time and the attention which it requires, because it is an absolutely fantastic model. Really, really did enjoy that one. You're going to find out more about that one in the future, and that one will probably sneak in the flight bag with me today as well. There was a new model out by MyFlyDream. Go and take a look at that one. Does look kind of cool. I do like because they got rolled carbon rods in there, and you can just click the wings on. I know with the XUAV clouds, which I've got here, I actually thought that having to thread the cables in on the flight line was going to be a right pain in the ass every time you went to go and fly and then packing up and stuff. But in reality, no, it probably takes, realistically, about 10 minutes to get set up on the flight line, which, for the size of the model, and it's not a lot. It doesn't feel a lot. It's 10 minutes, and that's getting the wings out the bag, slot them on, poke the cables through, put the cables in the right section, in with the right connectors in the fuselage, putting the battery on, getting the lid down, putting the run cam off, and then getting ready for launch. You launch literally 10 minutes from arriving from the flight line, assuming you got your bits out, and you're ready with the model to lob it. So, I don't know. Make your own decision on that one. The other one which we had was the Mini Talon. Those of you, the Mini Talon, by the way, is an absolutely brilliant model. It's well worth the 50 quid. Also, Banggood have always got them on sale, and I should really put a link to those in the video description for you. But the one thing, to the biggest one place where you can screw up is in the launches. Hard, flat, plenty of throttle. Okay, and nose heavy for the Mini Talon, and do be aware that model does like to fly fast. It's another model which likes to do at least 40 miles an hour. Okay, it is a very quick model in the sky. Absolutely fantastic model for FPV. In fact, I'm going to, he's been and bought a replacement Vector for his Mini Talon, so we're going to go out and do some Mini Talon chases today. Really looking forward to that. So yeah, maybe you'll see a few snaps later on today from me and Dave mucking around with the Mini Talons. Really looking forward to that. The next topic which we covered, Stuart is leaving HobbyKing. I haven't watched the full episode myself. I will do in a few moments. There's a link to that in the video description, or go and check over on the HobbyKing YouTube channel. And the last topic was, I'm going to get that on the screen. Steve, good boy. Bit of glue. It's only a flesh wound. Well done, Steve. So with that said, thank you everybody who's been enjoying me this morning. Nice to see you again on here, Bruce, as well. And apologies, I can see that everybody's been chatting here in the background. If you did have a question for me, or you asked something in the chat and I've missed it, and apologies, I've just been here busy chatting away to you. Facebook group, there's a link to the Facebook group in the video description. There's now over 600 cool pilots like me and you in there. If this is your first time here for an RC Coffee Chat, don't forget to press the subscribe button underneath this video so you find out when the next episode's coming out. Probably going to be a Mini Drak episode is the next one to come out from today's flying adventures, to be brutally honest. Sorry, another Mini Drak episode. Oh, life is good. And if you've enjoyed today's RC Coffee Chat, do me a favour, press the thumbs up button underneath this video, as it all helps. And on that note, it's time for me to call it a morning. I do have a shed load of batteries to go and get charged up today, and I will go and get my flight bag ready and everything, and we'll get that EF extra in the bag, and we'll go and get her maidened today as well. So on that note, if you are also out flying today, have a fantastic day's flying. If you're not out flying today, don't panic. I'll stick a battery in the Mini Drak for you and rag the nuts off it. So on that note, time for me to go. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I need to get my mouse back, and I shall see you about the same time tomorrow morning. Cheerios!